I was holding my phone, staring at the message over and over again, hoping my eyes were deceiving me. Move on, I am now married. Those words burned like fire in my chest. My hands shook, my vision blurred, and my heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst. My name is Chioma. I am from Enugu State, Nigeria. This is my story. I met Emeka 5 years ago. He was a struggling young man with big dreams. He wanted to travel abroad, to America, and make a better life for us. We talked about it every day, how we would build a family, how he would send for me once he settled. I believed him. I believed in us. When he finally got the opportunity, he had no money. I was working as a shop attendant in a big supermarket in Enugu. The job paid well, and I was the breadwinner of my family. My father had passed away years ago, and my mother was sick. My younger sister, Adeabi, was still in school. Every month, my salary covered everything: food, rent, school fees, and my mother's hospital bills. But when Emeka told me about his chance to travel, I didn't think twice. Baby, you know I will never forget this, Emeka had said, holding my hands, his eyes filled with emotion. Once I get there, I will work hard and send for you. I smiled. Just don't forget me, Emeka. That's all I ask. He kissed my forehead. Forget you? How can I? You are my everything. With that, I gave him everything. Every single kobo. Even when my mother's health was failing and Adeabi was struggling in school, I closed my eyes and told myself, Emeka is the future. I stopped paying for my mother's medicine and stopped paying Ada's school fees. They didn't understand why. They begged me. Mama, please understand, I had said. Once Emeka makes it, we will all be fine. Mama had looked at me weak from her sickness and sighed. Chioma, my daughter, be careful. Don't put all your hopes in a man. I ignored her warning. When Emeka got to America, at first, everything was good. He would call me, send voice notes, and even a few dollars when he could. But then, the calls became fewer. The messages took longer to reply. And then, nothing. Silence. I called and called. No answer. I sent messages. No reply. My heart told me something was wrong, but I refused to believe it. Then, one morning, I woke up to the message that shattered my world. Chioma, I'm sorry. I have to move on. I married an American woman. It was for my papers at first, but now I love her. I can't come back to Africa. Please understand. Take care of yourself. My hands went cold. My lips trembled. The phone slipped from my grip and fell to the floor. I let out a weak laugh. A bitter one. Please understand. My mother and my sister had been right. But now it was too late. I had nothing left. No money. No savings. My mother was sick. My sister had dropped out of school. And the man I gave everything to had betrayed me. I stood there, staring at my reflection in the broken mirror. What would I do now? I don't remember how long I stood there, staring at the broken mirror. My mind was blank, my heart empty. Then, a sharp knock on my door pulled me back to reality. Chioma. Open the door. It was Adeabi's voice. I wiped my face quickly and opened the door. The moment she saw me, she frowned. What happened? I forced a smile. Nothing. She stepped inside and picked up my phone from the floor. The screen was still on. She read the message. Adeabi's hands tightened around the phone. "So, it's true," she whispered, her voice shaking. "He left you?" I couldn't speak. I just nodded. She let out a bitter laugh and threw the phone on the bed. "I warned you, Chioma. We all did. But you didn't listen." "Stop it, Adeabi," I responded. "Stop what?" she snapped. "You abandoned us. You stopped paying Mama's hospital bills. I had to drop out of school. And for what? A man who doesn't care about you." Her words hit me like a slap. Tears burned my eyes, but I held them back. "Adeabi, You what?" She folded her arms. "Do you even have money left? Or did you send everything to him?" I swallowed hard. I had nothing. My salary had been gone for months. I had even borrowed from friends to support Emeka. Now, I had nothing left. "So, what will you do now?" I shook my head. "I don't know." Silence filled the room. My mother was still in the hospital, her medical bills piling up. My sister needed to go back to school. And what was left for me? Then my younger sister spoke again, softer this time. "Chioma, you have to be strong. Forget Emeka. We need to fix this mess." I looked at my younger sister, the girl who had depended on me all her life, now acting more like the elder one. I took a deep breath. She was right. I had lost everything, but I still had my family. And I would fight to make things right again. But how? I looked at Adebi, her face full of concern but also determination. "When the clouds gather, the eagle spreads its wings," she said, looking straight at me. I could see the strength in her words. "We can't allow this storm to break us, Chioma. We have to rise above it." I nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her words. The person who is hungry doesn't refuse to eat, no matter what food is offered. I thought about it for a moment. I'd lost my way, but I still had a chance to start again. I couldn't afford to let this define me. Adeabi got up from the bed and walked to the small table where I had my things. She picked up a stack of papers, hospital bills, bank statements, the few unpaid bills that I had been ignoring for months. She looked at me, her eyes hardening. "This is not the time to fold our arms and cry. We have to fix this, step by step. A bird that eats from the same pot every day cannot forget the pot," I whispered, thinking of how my life had been shaped by my decisions. Now I needed to take care of Mama and my younger sister. Family comes first. Adeabi's expression softened. "We'll manage together. I'll find a way to help with the bills. We'll start small, but we'll rise." I couldn't help but feel a small flicker of hope spark inside me. Later that day, I returned to work. My boss noticed how tired I looked. "Chioma, you don't seem like yourself today. Everything alright?" I didn't want to break down at work, so I smiled weakly. "It's just one of those days, sir." He stared at me for a moment, and then something in his face shifted. "There's no shame in falling, Chioma. But remember, a person who falls and gets up is stronger than the one who never fell." His words struck me deeply, and I thanked him silently. I knew I had fallen hard, but I could get back up. I just had to keep going, one step at a time. That night, my sister, and I sat down and made a list of what needed to be done. First, we had to focus on Momo's health. We couldn't afford a full treatment, but there were places we could go for cheaper care. Second, Adeabi would need to go back to school, even if it meant she had to attend evening classes. As for me, I would have to find a second job to make up for the money I had lost, and then some. A single thread cannot tie a bundle, Adeabi said as we worked together. We need each other to get through this. I smiled at her and nodded. I had to admit, she was right. Together, we could survive this storm. That night, after we'd finished planning, I lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling. It would be a hard road ahead, but I knew I couldn't let Emeka's betrayal keep me down. I had to move forward. No matter how long the night, the dawn will break. Tomorrow, I would begin again. The next morning, as the first rays of sunlight peeked through my window, I felt a renewed sense of determination. The past few days had been difficult, but now I could see a way forward. I had to stop dwelling on the betrayal and focus on what needed to be done. I walked to the small kitchen and started making breakfast, my thoughts racing. I had a plan now, small, but it was a start. My mind kept replaying the words of my boss from the day before: a person who falls and gets up is stronger than the one who never fell. I was going to get up. Later that day, after my shift at the shop, I decided to visit a local clinic that offered affordable medical care. It wasn't much, but it was better than nothing. Momo's health had deteriorated, and I couldn't wait any longer. The doctor at the clinic was kind but blunt. "We'll do what we can, but you need to start thinking about how you can manage your mother's health long term. It's going to take consistent care." I swallowed the lump in my throat and nodded. "Thank you, doctor. I'll do whatever it takes." When I left the clinic, I walked through the busy streets of Enugu, feeling a weight lifted from my shoulders. It wasn't much, but I was taking action. That night, Adeabi and I sat down again to continue our plans. The next step was getting her back in school. I knew we couldn't afford the full tuition, but there were community programs that offered scholarships for students in need. We'd applied to every one of them. As we walked, my sister glanced up from the papers and said, "Chioma, you know, it's like that saying, if the child does not cry, the mother will not know what is wrong." She was right. I had to let my family in, let them help me, because I couldn't do it all alone. I smiled at her and added, "And if the tree doesn't bend, it won't give fruit." It was a reminder that we needed to adapt, change, and grow through our challenges. Days turned into weeks, and things slowly started to get better. I picked up extra shifts at the shop and started selling small items on the side to make extra money. Adeabi got into a part-time evening program, and she worked hard to keep her grades up. Momo's health improved as we kept up with her treatments. It wasn't easy, but we survived. One evening, as I sat by the window, watching the sunset, I thought back to the message from Emeka. "Move on," he had said. But instead of feeling the sting of his words, I felt a sense of peace. I had moved on, not because he told me to, but because I had no choice. I had my family, I had my strength, and I had a future to build. The lion does not turn around when a small dog barks, I whispered to myself. Emeka had barked. But I was no small dog. I was a lion, and I was going to build my life, no matter the challenges. The road ahead was still long, but I knew now that I could walk it. And this time, I wouldn't be walking alone. A child who is loved by the mother never lacks food, I thought to myself as I prepared for bed. It was a Friday afternoon, and the shop was busy as usual. I had been working non-stop, helping customers, arranging new stock, and making sure everything was in order. Just as I was about to take a short break, a tall, well-dressed man in a navy blue kaftan walked into the shop. He had an air of confidence around him, the kind that came with wealth and power. From the way he carried himself, I could tell he wasn't just any customer. He walked straight to the counter, scanning the shelves as if looking for something specific. I quickly adjusted my name tag and stepped forward with my usual smile. "Good afternoon, sir. Welcome. How may I help you?" He looked at me briefly before responding in a deep, smooth voice. "I need some household supplies, cleaning items, air fresheners, and some toiletries. Can you help me put them together?" "Of course, sir. Please, have a seat. I'll get everything for you." As I moved around the store, picking the best products, I noticed him watching me closely. At first, I thought maybe I had done something wrong, but then he spoke again. "You're very efficient," he said. "I've been to many stores, but rarely do I see attendants this hardworking and polite." I smiled as I placed the items on the counter. "Thank you, sir. I just believe in treating every customer well. That's how my mother raised me, to always be kind, no matter what." He nodded approvingly. "That's rare to find these days." He reached into his pocket and handed me a business card. "My name is Chief Obinna Okafor. I own a chain of businesses across Nigeria. I like people who are diligent and trustworthy. If you ever want to work in a bigger place, give me a call." I was stunned. I stared at the card for a moment before looking back at him. "Wow, sir, I don't know what to say. Thank you so much." He chuckled. "No need to thank me. Good people deserve good opportunities." He paid for his items, leaving a generous tip before walking out. I stood there, still holding the card, my heart racing. Was this the opportunity one had been waiting for? Could this be my chance to change my life and finally take care of my family the way I had always wanted? That night, I sat on my bed, staring at the business card. Adeabi noticed and walked over. "Sister, what is it? You've been quiet since you got back." I showed her the card, and she gasped. "Chief Obinna Okafor, the billionaire businessman." I nodded. He said I should call him if I ever want to work in a better place. Adeabi's face lit up with excitement. "Sister, this is a blessing. This could be your breakthrough." But deep inside, I was nervous. Was I ready for such a big change? What if it didn't work out? I waited for a week later, then I decided to call. So one morning before I set off to work, with my heart pounding, I dialed the number, pressed the call button, and placed the phone in my ear. The line rang twice before a deep, familiar voice answered. "Hello, this is Chief Obinna Okafor." I took a deep breath and spoke. "Good morning, sir. This is Chioma, the shop attendant you met a few days ago. You gave me your card and said I could call if I ever wanted a job offer." There was a brief pause before he responded. "Oh, Chioma. I remember you. You impressed me with your hard work. I'm glad you called. Are you ready to take the next step in your career?" "Yes, sir. I am ready," I said firmly. "Good. Come to my office tomorrow morning. I have a position that I believe will suit you perfectly." I could barely contain my excitement as I thanked him. That night, I barely slept. Was this really happening? Could this be my chance to finally rise above all the struggles? The next morning, I put on my best outfit, tied my scarf neatly, and headed to Chief Obina's company, Okafor Group of Companies. The building was massive, glass windows reflecting the bright sun and well-dressed employees walking in and out. I was directed to the top floor, where Chief Obina's office was. He welcomed me warmly and got straight to the point. "Chioma, I have an opening for a supervisor in one of my retail stores. It's a managerial position. And the salary, I think it can be 3 times what you are earning currently, and this also comes with full health care benefits for you and 3 family members of yours. Do you think you can handle it?" I nearly gasped. 3 times my salary. Health insurance. He smiled. "Yes. Hardworking people deserve to be rewarded. I have a feeling you'll go far." Tears welled in my eyes. "Sir, this means everything to me. I accept the offer." "Good," he said with a nod. "You start on Monday." I walked out of the office feeling like my life had just changed. Within the first month at my new job, everything turned around. My salary was more than enough to take care of my needs and my family. The health insurance covered my mother's hospital bills, and for the first time in years, she received proper treatment without me worrying about money. As months passed, I continued to rise in my career. Chief Obina became my mentor, guiding me through business and personal growth. He introduced me to influential people, and soon I started making a name for myself.